recipe for us today is going to be a wrap. We are going to be using a whole grain tortilla, some white beans, and pesto to make this delicious lunch treat. When I select wraps at the grocery store, I like to have things that read whole wheat or whole grain as their first and primary ingredient. That's how you know that you're getting a product that is rich in complex carbohydrates. What does that mean? That means that the carbohydrate itself has not had things taken away from it, so it's still rich in fiber, which really helps us feel full and satiated, but it also helps us maintain a healthy blood sugar and a healthy weight. So that's the first thing we're going to start with. So I'm taking my tortilla and I'm laying it out just on my cutting board here. The next thing I have is going to be to have some white beans. These are cannellini beans. You can use any kind of white bean you prefer in the grocery store. Navy beans, cannellini beans are a great option. Something that's pre-cooked and soft and mushable. And we're gonna add a pesto. So to this ingredients, our pesto sauce. Pesto is just basil with nuts and sometimes some Parmesan cheese. There's also different options you can add, like kale pesto or spinach pesto, so that you can even make it home. These ingredients are really simple. I simply just took the beans out of the container, gave them a quick rinse into my bowl, and I just put in about 2 tablespoons of pesto sauce. And I'm just gonna mix that around in my bowl here. And then I'm just gonna come through and I'm gonna mush it all together once it's all incorporated. I'm using the beans and I'm smushing them down just to make it a little bit easier to put into the wrap. It's also gonna act as our paste. So if anyone's ever wrapped up a sandwich before in a wrap and noticed that as soon as you go to take it, it just falls apart, the beans act as our glue. So you always want to assemble a wrap that's going to stay for all of your best ingredients. And so we want to make sure that we have something like a white bean or a hummus or some kind of that paste consistency to help glue our wrap together. So I've just mushed up these. They don't have to be totally pureed or mashed down. We just want to have that little kind of paste consistency that you can see it sticks together pretty well. So now that we have that, we're just going to set that aside and we're going to move on to preparing some of our other ingredients. So I have some of the vegetable toppings that I'm going to put on this wrap. I'm going to use cherry tomatoes and a red onion. The cherry tomatoes are going to add a really bright, vibrant red color. They're rich in a phytonutrient called lycopene, which is known to help prevent certain types of cancer. And we really want to have tomatoes in our diet, especially in the summertime when they're nice and fresh. In the wintertime, especially in Michigan, when you can't seem to get a really ripe tomato, the best thing to grab is a cherry tomato. They're always picked vine fresh, and so you're always going to have something that has the most nutrients you can. If you want to incorporate tomatoes into other ingredients in the wintertime, the best thing to do is to grab something that's canned and look for no salt added. Whether it's beans or soups or broths or canned tomatoes or vegetables, to protect our heart health, we want to be reducing our sodium intake. And so having canned produce that is not rich in sodium, no salt added, is a really great solution. So now that I've cut up my tomatoes here, I'm going to move on to just some quick slices of my red onion. I just want a few slices just to add a little bit of punch. Red onion, when it's raw, has a really kind of almost spicy texture and consistency, and we want to just add a little bit of something else to counter the sweetness and the creaminess of those beans. So I just take off and make a quick slice, and then I just peel off the outside of that tough exterior, and I have these beautiful onion rings that give such a nice color on our plate. So now we are ready to assemble. Like I said, super easy, under 5 minutes, nothing complicated about it. This recipe makes about 2 wraps, so whether you're taking both for lunch, if you're extra hungry or you're packing for a longer day, or if you're making one ahead of time and saving one for tomorrow, you're going to want to take half of our bean mixture and you're just going to smush it down onto 1/2 of the tortilla. We want to kind of pull some of the beans to the edge because, like I said, remember, we got to glue it together, so we want to make sure that we have something there to kind of pull it all together in the end. So just have our bean mixture here. I'm going to go in and add some leafy greens. This is just some power mixture. It's got kale and spinach, already pre-washed so that you can easily buy it at the grocery store, so you don't even have to worry about having access to water if you're on a job site. It's super easy to have all these ingredients. And all you need is a knife. A pocket knife would work great to prepare all of this. So first I lay my lettuce down, and then I'm going to come in with my cut cherry tomatoes. I put my lettuce underneath because, especially if I'm making it the night before, I don't want it to get soggy. And so if we do that, our cherry tomatoes will kind of stay in place here and they won't create a soggy wrap. Then I'm gonna come through and I'm just gonna slice my onions in half to make them a little bit more easy to layer. And there we go, there we have it, our beautiful layered wrap. So all you have to do now is roll. I fold the top of my tortilla over and I give it a bit of a pull to kind of keep it all together. And I roll it together and there it is. Stuck like glue, a beautiful wrap, super delicious, ready to go for lunchtime.